Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and wow, what an episode. Wow. So first of all, I want to address the elephant in the room. This is my first video in around 10 months, I think. Obviously the last video I did was on the Season 7 trailer, or the second one, and I did plan on doing weekly videos for Season 7, but I just never really found time to do it. But I do, again, intend on doing weekly videos from now for Season 8 and in 2022. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to try. So this video is really just a test to see how well I can do things, how well the video performs, how well you guys like it. I don't expect this to do crazy in terms of views, but it's a starting point, obviously. And before we go any further, I just want to say thank you for the support on the last video 10 months ago. I believe it has 200 views, which I wasn't actually expecting that at all. And this channel has 100 subscribers as well, which I am blown away by. I know it's not much, but for pretty much no content, I am really surprised to how well that video performed and how well the channel has performed as well. So I am going to ask you to drop a like, subscribe, and comment, as it will greatly help me boost this channel and hopefully motivate me to do more of these. Like, as I said before, I plan to do these for next episode, maybe even the promo for episode 5. I haven't actually thought about that, but maybe I might do that tomorrow or in the next few days. But I do plan on doing these throughout the break, the Christmas break, and before March next year when Flash comes back. And obviously, when it is actually back, I will hopefully be doing reviews and breakdowns for all those episodes, but we'll see. Hopefully I will, but I don't know how well that's going to work out with stuff getting in the way when that happens. But for the next couple months, I'm completely free. I've got nothing much on. So yeah, I'll hopefully be making these sort of videos with theories, I don't know, news, whatever comes out, if there's much, as well as just general stuff, I guess. But I've already wasted 2 minutes rambling about stuff, so we might as well talk about this crazy episode of The Flash. Episode 4 of Season 8, Armageddon Part 4. What a crazy episode. This had so much stuff. Had Alex Danvers as Sentinel, had Ryan Choi, who we later see as the Atom, the new Atom, and obviously we had Batwoman, who wasn't in it for much, but that was mainly just because obviously Javicia has her own show as the lead, so she couldn't stick around for 6 days or whatever. She had to do it fast and back to her own show. But we also had Damien Dark, Barry Allen as the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne as the Flash. What? Never in a million years would I have ever thought that would be seeing this on the show in Season 8. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. Like, that's crazy. Like, absolutely insane. And it doesn't end there. We also have a new suit for the Reverse Flash, which we first see Barry have, and later on, at the very end of the episode, we obviously see Tom Cavanagh in it as presumably the new Reverse Flash suit, which we'll get into a bit later on. But yeah, that is crazy, and I just cannot say how much I loved this episode. Obviously, it had some side plots and stuff, some plot holes, but just as a Flash fan, like, wow, absolutely loved it. So first of all, in the episode, we start in 2031, the Armageddon future, where Armageddon hasn't started yet, but it's about to, that same day, or even night. Did we have a daytime scene? I think it was the same night. Yeah, I think it was. The only time we saw a day was when we went around the world. Yeah, that same night, Armageddon will begin. But we start off in a place called Robbins, which we saw at the end of last episode, episode 3. And obviously, at the end of episode 3, we saw Barry walk in as he just traveled to the future. But this time we start off a minute or so before that, and we see Ryan Wilder, Batwoman, talking to Iris, I believe, and this is when we get the confirmation that Ryan Wilder and Sophie Moore from Batwoman are together in the future, and they're planning on having a baby, but Ryan isn't sure about the logistics of it, with her being Batwoman and all that stuff. So yeah, Iris and Ryan are talking about that, and we learn that Allegra, I believe, lives in London at that time. At least I think that's what they were talking about. She says that she's been in London. She found a job got a job offer in the US in Gotham. So I presume that she's in London, and she's came back for this West party or whatever they're doing. But yeah, and then we see the ending of episode 3 from the perspective of Team Flash and Eobard Thawne, where Barry comes in, Ryan's like, what the hell are you doing here? All that stuff. And Barry's trying to convince them all that he's not Thawne, or evil, I guess. And Barry says to Iris something along the lines of that he loves him, that, all that stuff. And Iris didn't like that. She got pretty mad at him for saying that and pulled out a weapon, I think. I think it was then, I'm not sure. Maybe it'd be in the next scene. But Barry, trying to show them that he's actually the Flash and not the Reverse Flash, he says that he's going to go put the suit on and they'll see. So he runs off, comes back with the yellow Reverse Flash suit on, the new one, and that does not help him at all. Because then we see Eobard Thawne, played by Tom Cavanagh, as you all know, put the Flash suit on, the red Flash suit on, and he's like, you are not the Flash, Barry. I am. Which is such a cool line. I love it so much. And then obviously we get the new title card, or customized one, I guess, with everything that was Barry from the original season 8 one is now Tom Cavanagh as Eobard Thawne as the Flash, all that stuff. And then we return to the same place with everyone suited up, or I guess it's only really just Batwoman and Alex, right? Was Alex suited up? I think she was. I know Batwoman was. We also have Ryan Choi with his Atom Gauntlet, I guess. And we get a fight in the restaurant or whatever the place is with Thawne vs. Flash, Batwoman vs. Flash, Sentinel vs. Flash. And Allegra also shows up at one point. And moving back to Ryan Choi as the Atom, we get a cool thing of Ryan shrinking Thawne to dodge one of Barry's lightning throws and enlarging him again. That's something cool that we don't get to see often. And in this scene, we get something reasonably big dropped on us, is that Barry, as the Reverse Flash, has actually killed Ray Palmer, Nate Haywood, Sarah Lance, who are all from Legends, as well as Cisco Ramon. Barry killed them all with the help of Damien Dark, which we obviously later find out in the episode. But not even probably not even 3 minutes in, and we get something dropped on us like that big. That's just crazy, and that just goes to show how insane this episode is not pretty much non-stop apart from a few scenes. Just one thing after the other. Because next up, we have Barry bringing Iris to the loft and telling her that she is his lightning rod, which she is confused, don't like. And right at that same moment, Thawne comes and speeds Barry out of there, and they run to some sort of factory-like place. Not factory, something like that. I don't really know what to call it. But there we get a lot of things dropped on us, like the fact that it was actually Thawne who was messing with Barry back in 2021. That was all his doing. Like, he was the one who caused the radiation scanner in Star Labs to go offline, which meant that they weren't able to detect radiation, which I guess he was the one who also planted it, which obviously led to Star Labs being shut down in 2021. And he was also the one who killed Joe in the train station. He's the one who pushed him onto the train tracks and the train ran him over. And I'm not sure But there were, in episode 3, they said that there were a lot of coincidences on that day. Like, I think the train was running early, stuff like that. So, was he the one who also caused that? Did he say that? I can't remember. I don't know if he said that, but I presume he did. Unless there were just heaps of coincidences on that day. But we also find out that he was the one attacking people in 2021. He made himself look like Barry and started throwing lightning at people. That is also what we find out there. And with all that combined, we learn that he made a reverse Flashpoint. Not a Flashpoint, as he specifically says. It's a reverse Flashpoint, which was fueled from Barry and Thorne's last encounter in episode 18, or the finale of season 7, when Barry showed and kind of flexed that he was faster than Thorne. So obviously Thorne wasn't happy with that. He was mad, so he decided to absolutely mess with Barry and basically ruin his life more than it already was ruined by killing Joe, which led to so much stuff. Then we get something even more crazy. Thorne killed Barry as a child. I freaked out when I heard that, and that Thorne made it so he was the one who got struck by the lightning in 2013, and that is how he became the Flash, basically, and turned into Barry Allen. Even though he's still eaten by Thorne, but he fell in love with Iris, he led Team Flash, all that stuff. And because of that, we learn that Barry is going to get erased from existence at midnight when the timeline solidifies, which, yeah, this shows that everything in this episode was in one night, because he was gonna, I believe it was nearly midnight towards the end when Armageddon was happening, yeah. So then Thorne, like, throws lightning or whatever, blasts lightning, I guess, and we come back to see Barry lying on the ground. He goes to Jitters, and undercover with the cap, he sees on the TV a news report saying that Damien was in prison, he's out, and he was in there because he killed Cisco and all that, with the help of Reverse Flash, who's still at large. So that gives Barry the idea to go to Damien Dark for help on kind of just saving his life, I guess, making it so he doesn't get erased. So he does that. He goes to Damien, and Damien can tell that he isn't the same, I guess. He's because he's not at full power. And Barry says that after Damien was arrested, he fought Earbud as the Flash, but right before he could kill Thorne, Thorne ran back in time, so he was the one who won, causing Barry, as the Reverse Flash, to lose his speed, and that they're living in a flashpoint of flashes, which is all obviously kind of made up. He lied to Damien with all that stuff. That didn't happen, but they are living in Thorne's Flashpoint, or Reverse Flashpoint. That wasn't exactly made up, but because of that, there are multiple anachronisms, and the only way to reset the timeline is to turn everything back at the same time using, I believe it was Damien's Time Stone and the PED, which is located in Star Labs. So they have to invade Star Labs, steal it, and all that stuff. So we go to Star Labs, and we see that Team Flash, which consists of, I believe, Thorne as the Flash, Chester, Cecile, Caitlin, Allegra. I might be missing someone, I don't know. But we see them scanning for negative tachyons, but due to Barry having, like, not a lot of speed and all that, it's hard to trace them, the negative tachyons. So they have to try harder to locate them and stuff. Iris and Thorne have a talk about their wedding, I believe, which is the next day, and all that stuff. But after that, we start to get probably one of the least interesting stuff about the Armageddon event so far. Like, it was kind of just really average, and I didn't really understand why we had it there, because these aren't our characters. Like, they are the same people, but these are future versions in an alternate timeline. So obviously I understand that they have to fill up the episode with side stuff, because Grant and stuff, he's not going to film for the entire episode. So they had to do something. And there isn't really much options apart from the future characters, obviously. So, yeah, they had to choose Allegra and Chester and Ryan Choi, with a little bit of Alex Danvers. So, I mean, it was nice seeing Ryan Choi and Alex, obviously. It was really great seeing that, but it was a little bit disappointing that they weren't in, like, bigger roles of, like, superhero-y stuff. We just got kind of just pep talks and just, like, I wasn't really interested in it. But, yeah, so we learned that Chester and Allegra, they are playing D&D one night, and they decide to get together, but in the morning, Allegra wakes up to see Chester gone. So she doesn't like this, and we also later find out that that is because everyone who she's been with in her life just leaves her, and she thinks that Chester's doing the same thing. But we also find out that Chester actually went out to get blueberry muffins and coffee for them to watch the sunrise. And when Chester comes back to their place, he finds her not there, and when he tries to tell her, the Legion of Doom attack them and Team Flash, and I think they said it's a week, and then once everything's cleared up, he tries to tell her again, but Allegra just, like, cuts him off and says that she doesn't want to do it, and they just want to be friends, which, after that, at some point, I presume that's when she moves to London, obviously. But to get back to what I was talking about before, we have Damien and Barry invade Star Labs, and they're in the lab, like Chester's lab, it is now, it used to be Cisco's, with Damien attacking, I think, Chester, and Ryan Choi are in there, scanning for negative tachyons. Barry and Damien come in, Damien does his old hand thing, choking them, whatever, knocking them out, and Barry looks over at the pinball machine and sees the not so secret but kind of secret lock compartment, which used to hold Velocity X, the Velocity X formula in season 6, but now has the PED device, which they need to reset the timeline. So Barry grabs that. We have Cecile with the Psycho Pirate mask, using her powers on Barry and Thorne, but Damien, I believe, is the one to stop her. And Damien wants to kill Team Flash, but Barry obviously speeds him out of there before he could do that. Yeah, so we have Barry run Damien back to his apartment, I guess it is. And Damien then knows that Barry isn't actually the real Reverse Flash, because the real Reverse Flash would have killed them right then and there without a moment's thought, but Barry says that he can do it another time, which led Damien to know that he isn't actually the real Reverse Flash. But Barry says that he needs Damien's help to save himself and the timeline from being solidified and dying. And to do this, he brings up Nora, that she's alive in the original timeline, which she isn't in this new one. So he uses that to his advantage and shows Damien that he actually sacrifices himself for Nora in the original timeline. So that makes Damien want to reset and restore time so Nora can be alive again, basically. And then we have a scene with Ryan, Wilder, and Iris in the loft, where Ryan says that Batwing, or Luke Fox, called up saying that Two-Face is back at it in Gotham, so she has to go back and help, but gives Iris some advice on marrying Eobard, which was weird to say, but she also gives a device that Luke came up with back when a certain lady in red tried to kill them all. Now, I have no idea who that certain lady in red is. Will we find out? Maybe. Hopefully. That is a cool tease. My first thought was Trajectory, which I know that's not actually them, but it's the only female speedster in a red suit, I believe, that we had on the show. But this device is called Velocity Zero, and temporarily disrupts the connection to whatever Speed Force that Barry is using. And then we get some Batwoman-y stuff for the show, I guess, or the relationship stuff with Ryan and Sophie, as they say that they're going to adopt a baby. Right after Ryan saved a kid living in a van near the waterfront, which, if you didn't know, that is what Ryan Wilder was like when we saw her at the start of Season 2 of Batwoman. So it reminded her of herself, basically, so she was happy to save them. And after that, we then go back to Barry and Damian, and after calculations, Barry has to go Mach 20, which is nearly impossible with his limited speed. And he also figures out that he is actually the one causing Armageddon, because going Mach 20, running around the planet, the pressure from the running on the Earth's core will cause destruction all around the globe, like volcanoes, earthquakes, all that stuff. And he also says that he has 2 minutes to accelerate before Armageddon begins, basically. And that there's a 2% chance to accelerate fast enough in that 2 minutes with the limited speed that he has. So basically it's nearly impossible, and he doesn't believe he could do it. But then Damian brings up that Barry is the paragon of love, that Damian's actually seen Barry in the Time Stone restore the multiverse back in Crisis, obviously. So he knows that what he's done, and he gives him some advice about kind of just about love. I didn't find that bad. It was alright. It's like one of the few times that power of love is fine for me. But we then have Barry go back to the loft, surprise Iris, which she got scared and immediately pulled out the Velocity Zero gun, points at Barry. And she sees Barry fading out of existence, and Barry technically says that he loves her, that she's his lightning rod, I believe. But then Thorn shows up, tells Iris to shoot him, but she decides to shoot Thorn. So he goes to the ground, and she tells Barry that he just needs to go before she changes his mind, all that stuff. So he leaves, runs up to Damian in the middle of the road, which is this scene, and Damian says that he can use his magic to let Barry hear him from anywhere in the world. So they shake hands, and Barry runs off, and we see Ryan, Caitlin, Cecile, Allegra, and Alex in Star Labs, which I just now realize I think I forgot to mention Ryan, Troy, and Alex earlier on in the video, in the other Star Labs scene, but my bad. They look at news reports and scanners showing destruction all around the world, which some of them consist of volcanoes erupting, forest fires, tornadoes, and Allegra says that she's tracking at least 100 earthquakes, and the tsunami hits Japan. So Alex and Ryan go to help Frost outside in the city, and we see on the monitors that Thorn is catching up to Barry as they run around the world. They run through Paris, which is in flames. And then we have Chilblain and Frost attack Damian, and might I say that Chilblain was perfectly fine in this episode. It seems that they can do him alright, but he didn't really have anything. He didn't really have a story in the episode, which is probably why he's fine. But yeah, we see that Damian's powers are actually dampened on Frost and Chilblain because John Constantine actually gave them a protection spell. We continue on with the Damian stuff, and Frost and Chilblain get knocked to the ground from Damian, as I believe he repelled one of their ice blasts at them. Then we have Ryan Choi as the Atom show up, and he makes a blade that Damian had 2 tons or something like that. He increased the molecular density 1,000-fold at a subatomic level, is what I believe they said. And then Alex also shows up and electrocutes Damian, makes him unconscious, which is the last that we see of Damian in the episode. But it's awesome seeing a comic accurate Atom suit, even though it's not the best, but I mean, it's fine. I believe the Cal's just a Flash suit one, one of the Flash ones, but honestly, it's fine, it's sick, it's awesome. I hope we get to see it again, because making that suit just for that short scene is a bit weird. So I believe they'll use it at some point, but I don't know when they'll bring Ryan Choi back, so yeah. We then learn that there's 60 seconds to go, and Thorn is chasing Barry around the city, and this is the point where Barry begins to see memories of Iris and past events with Iris show up in front of him. And we actually have Iris in the window of the loft looking out, and she has lightning tears, I believe, and she's able to help Barry reconnect to the Speed Force to go faster and have enough speed to open up a portal to the Speed Force in time. So this scene right here is one of the coolest like Flash fights or speedster fights they've had in the show, mainly because it looked like it was directly ripped out of a comic book page. Like the shot of Thorne reaching out for Barry and seeing Barry both of them running at the same time. It was so cool. I got chills, and the VFX work was also great in that scene. It actually made it look like they were running super fast, which the past few seasons you haven't really been able to see that sometimes. But I'm coming up to 30 minutes on the video, which I only just realized. I guess I've been talking too slow or something. I need to obviously work on my talking and all that, but yeah. We have Barry go back to 2021, and we have Despero actually in Star Labs, and he's killed everyone in Team Flash, apart from Cecile, which I was kind of shocked at. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all. But he's looking for Flash, and right before he's able to kill Cecile, the timeline is reset, and we see like the green wave resetting the timeline. Everyone's reset apart from Despero, and then Barry runs in, and we get the confrontation there where Barry says that Armageddon was caused because he was restoring the timeline, and that the speedway caused by Thorne and Barry is what caused the Earth to crumble, I guess. And Despero then does his eye thing and is able to sense that the timeline has been altered, but he doesn't know the true reason, so Barry suggests that he could go to the future to have a look for himself. And obviously, if there's soul destruction there, all that stuff, he'll come back and kill Barry, which we're probably going to see next episode. I'll try to do that. So once that is all over, Barry walks into the lounge and sees Team Flash, which doesn't include the guest stars. So it's just Iris, Caitlin, Chester, Cecile, and Allegra, happy and not concerned at all, eating food. Big Belly Burger, I think it was, probably. So he speeds up, hugs Iris, and then Cecile is able to sense that something's wrong with Barry, but he just says that he'll tell them later, another time. And this is when Iris calls Joe, and Joe is confirmed to be alive again. So Barry is thrilled to hear that. So he's able to talk to him. So Joe's back. Everyone's back. Barry's not going insane. It's all fine again. Star Labs is back. His job's probably back too. All that stuff. That was all because of Thorne. And then we get the ending scene of Thorne in the time vault, which I believe it was 2021 at the same time, in the new Reverse Flash suit. Tom Cavanagh in the new Reverse Flash suit, talking to Gideon, and he says that no one can use time against me. I will live. I will change what's about to happen, and you will help me, as his eyes turn red, talking to Gideon. And that is where we leave off this episode. I'm super excited for next episode, where we have... I'm not going to say it, just in case anyone's watching this who doesn't want to get spoiled, but we have another character returning tomorrow. Next episode. Yeah. I believe that is everything that happened in the episode. It's more of a recap, really, that I did, more than a review, but I'm still working out things. I'm still learning how to make these videos, and I'm 32 minutes long, 33 minutes long. Much longer than this needed to be. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to cut it down, or if I'm going to leave like this. I don't know if I can cut it down. I kind of just ramble for a bit. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I apologize if there was any microphone issues during the episode. As I said literally 2 seconds ago, I'm still working things out. Please leave a comment if there's any issues that you see or anything you want me to work on. That it was greatly appreciated. Obviously, like the video, and a subscribe will be greatly appreciated as well, as I am trying to start this channel back up again, bring it back to life, and do reviews. So yeah, thank you all for watching. It would be awesome if you guys could go join my Discord server, which is in the description below, as well as follow my Twitter, my Instagram, all that stuff. I am rambling on this outro. I'm making it way longer than it needs to be, so I'll just see you guys next time. Goodbye.